Yo, yo, welcome back to Evil Scuba Diver. Today we're talking about every album I listened to in the month of July 2025. You might notice the background, it's pretty cool. We got 3 paintings up there, all done by me. Let me introduce you to Searching, and then if we go over in this direction, we got Night Vision, and then we got Pac-Man. Those are the titles of those, and I hope you enjoy them in the background. I made them for you. Listen, July was a pretty interesting month for me. I don't know about you, I've been having a pretty decent time. I released the second search session actually today as of recording this, and that is Halfway There and Hospitalization and Death. Those 2 songs are out now for your listening pleasure, and we're getting insurmountable work done on this next project I'm working on, and we're making a lot more music that's not on the project, and there's some cool stuff going on. That's all I want to say. That's all I want to say. Listen to search session 2 and keep listening when I drop more. Okie dokie, let's get into it. Why not? From Me to You by Quedeca. Vanisher is coming out here in T-minus 3 days for me as of recording this part of the video, and I decided to listen to Quedeca's old discography just for Me to You. Actually, I shouldn't say listen to his whole discography, but this was really sort of the last frontier for Quedeca's YouTube rap era. Like, this is like the last remnants of the corniness and the last remnants of the fast rapping. This is like the end of it, right? And it's a pretty grand ending to this era of his. The production is pretty wild. It's in your face. There's so many sound effects on these songs, it's kind of hard to pin down. Even the stuff that's not really my favorite songs, they probably have like 700 tracks going on inside of them. I remember an interview with Quedeca said Sisyphus alone was 700 something tracks in Logic, and I don't even know. There's so many different sound effects, different effects swirling around. There's a lot of effort going into this stuff. Unfortunately, it doesn't really all fit. It kind of just sounds like chaos static hitting your face and not really sounding great, especially because most of the songs are very melodramatic lyrically. They're kind of corny. I don't like throwing that word around, but that's kind of the word that was really speaking to me when I was listening to it. I couldn't really see myself returning to anything other than maybe Sisyphus. I think all the ideas he expounds upon here are either too melodramatic and too YouTube rappy and too fast rap for the sake of it, or he just executed them better on other albums like Scrapyard, I Didn't Mean to Haunt You, and hopefully Vanisher coming out here soon. Plus, it's long. It's a very long album. I will say the ambient interludes really are pretty interesting. Like, you can see he's gonna go in an ambient direction with I Didn't Mean to Haunt You after this. Like, you can kind of see the progression there, and those were the most captivating parts of the album for me, is like the sound effect driven intrinsic little ambient pieces. But other than that, I'm probably not returning to this too much. It's, you know, it's a charming album when you look at where he is now, right? But as a work on its own, without the charm, without the novelty of how he's branched out, it's not really great to me. So next album, Heavy Metal by Cameron Winter. Really been digging this album. The way it's mixed, the way Cameron's vocals stand out among all this different bullshit going on in your headphones. All the percussions are just janky and not quantized at all. All the drums sound a little bit like close mic 70s. Some of them are panned, some of them have like reverb going on. There's just some really interesting ideas. I talked about it last month, so I won't talk about it too much. I really did a whole spiel on it last month, but yeah, this is still a really awesome album to me. I think it's really getting me into Cameron Winter and Geese. I've been listening to the new Geese single Taxes a lot, just because I think Cameron Winter's pretty dope. He kind of showed me he's dope with this album, so I'm excited for Getting Killed by Geese. That's coming out now, and I gotta listen to 3D Country still, so we'll see how I like that. But yeah, perfect little album for the airport. That's what I noticed. I listened to it in the airport coming back from Europe and going to Europe both times, and it kind of filled up my day. It's a shorter album, but every song on it kind of has this cozy, warm, existential feeling to it that's very, very interesting, very neat. All the melodies are very quaint and very folky and very sparse, and yeah, it paints a nice monotonous airport day as something nice, you know? It matches the monotony of an airport really well. I don't know if that's a compliment, but it is from my point of view. Next album, The Four Carnation by The Four Carnation. This is like a wild ambient yet experimental art rock album, kind of like Hex by Bark Psychosis, which I talked about last month. It's a wild trip. It's mixed good enough. The songs, I think there's like 5 songs in this album. All of them are around like 8 minutes, 9 minutes, and the mixing isn't like insane. It's kind of DIY, but it gets the job done. Like, you're put into a place, and the texture of it not being a perfect mix actually adds to it a lot. It just sounds very simple and very like, oh, here's some people making music for me. And sometimes that hits and sometimes it doesn't. Like, sometimes I'll hear an album like that and be like, oh, that's interesting. It sounds very human and very authentic. And other times I'll hear it and I'll be like, why didn't you try harder? But this is just one of the times where it worked for me. I don't know, maybe it's the headspace I'm in. And yeah, it's pretty cool. A lot of the lyrics on this album are about like witchy things and like this like kind just witch. I don't know, like the witch Robert Eggers type of vibe I was getting from it. It's cold. It's kind of slightly satirical the way they're pacing their music, if that makes any sense. Like a bass line will come in and it'll just make me laugh. Like there's a sense of humor to how they structure their song. I don't know if that makes any sense at all, but there's a spark of it here and it was worth noting. I mean, their band name being The Four Carnation is just, I mean, that's kind of their sense of humor that you get on the album too. It's like, what does that mean? Why? Like, what the hell? But that's like the vibe, I guess. And you know what? I had a decent time with it, so thumbs up. Next album, God Save the Animals by Alex G. This album is known as like his church rock album or his Christian rock album, and it's mainly known as his like simple album. It's kind of just piano, acoustic guitar, drums, no crazy stuff going on. He's using this weird auto-tune warble, this very meek, childlike auto-tune thing going on in a lot of these songs. That's a really interesting aspect of it. But returning to it, I'm realizing this album is much weirder than the fan base of Alex G gives it credit for. I mean, I'm thinking about stuff like the vocal presence on SDOS, like Jesus is my lawyer. The melancholic piano on that thing is really interesting too, and the percussion, the I don't know, I can't make the noise, but it's like the frog. You know the frog that you like stroke the back of and it makes the sound. There's a cool sound on there too. Yeah. Also, this is the album that comes after House of Sugar, which is his most like insane, like balls to the walls album sound play thing ever. I mean, just listen to Walk Away and tell me that's not the most insane thing you've ever heard from this DIY songwriter. Like Walk Away just blows my mind every time I listen to it. I just like, it puts me in a trance, man. And this is like significantly stripped back. God Save the Animals is significantly more simple than anything on House of Sugar, but there is still that existential, weird, almost dystopian undertone to this folk rock, this DIY folk sound. Like I mentioned with SDOS, very melancholy pianos. Cross the Sea has this very like weird, mutated, meek vocal line that just sounds like really sort of like depressed and like isolated. Ain't It Easy, the chorus is literally going, ain't it easy, ain't it easy. Literally whispering in your ear, but not in a way that's like cheerful or playful. It's almost like he's whispering in your ear like he just tied you up in a basement and you're duct taped to a chair and he's trying to wake you up. Ain't it easy, ain't it easy. Miracles is also a really good song on this album. It's a very timeless song. It reminds me of Congratulations by MGMT. It reminds me of a song like Cats in the Cradle. It like puts the bow on all these Christianity themes of the album by saying basically, we got better pills than ecstasy with miracles and crosses. I guess he's talking to his lover, because on this song too, he's talking about how he's decided to have a baby with this girl he loves, and he's sort of like closing the page on a part of his life where God is not in the center. This is God Save the Animals is like a Christian based sort of album, very lyrically religious and all that, and this is just the final period of where he's at, very literally. Everything else can kind of be up for interpretation musically, but this song really feels like the period point. Like, this is where I am, this is an honest song, this is me growing up and realizing that we got miracles and crosses and that's the best drug there is. And it's like a very heartwarming embrace of religion and becoming a better person, realizing you're struggling but still wanting to go through giving a kid the world that you experienced as a kid. I don't know, this is a very heartwarming song to me. It's very classic. This is one of Alex G's best songs. It doesn't get really talked about enough. I really suggest listening to Miracles again, because not only is it just amazing, it just means a lot. So yeah, next album, I Laid Down My Life For You by JPEG Mafia. This album's been kind of a mainstay at the gym. I mean, the song, I scream this in the mirror before I interact with anyone. I mean, whoa, those guitars, those drums, they're so heavy, the panning is insane. That got me through some pretty heavy tricep pull downs, I'll tell you that much. And this album also got my mind thinking this might be my favorite JPEG album. It used to be All My Heroes Are Cornballs for a very long time, but as I listen to this album more and more, I just appreciate the cohesiveness of a hard rock inspired rap album that is just no holds barred, just in your face. The mixing, the production level, the way he's getting sort of sentimental on some songs, like the last couple songs in the album. It's just a full package of JPEG Mafia really giving us the album he always wanted to make for us. It's not just like throwing stuff at the wall and being weird. JPEG Mafia is weird. It's listen to his beats, they're so flip-floppy, right? This is like intentional. There's effort put into this, and it's very cohesive. I love it, and I think it might be my favorite now. So I listened to the deluxe as well, so I'm listening to songs like Jordan Rules, Boy You Should Know. Like, those are just like so welcome additions. I love it. I'm still not into all the additions, like Cult Status I'm probably not listening to ever, but I really had a good time with this this album, and it cemented itself as like one of the highlights of this month for me. So next album, Yankee UXO by Godspeed You Black Emperor. In case you don't know, I kind of have beef with Godspeed You Black Emperor. I think they're politically posturing in a lot of their music. I think the fact that they make instrumental albums and they just call it political by slapping a Rocket album cover on it, or they put a sample in the middle of a song and that just makes it political now. I think that's like a really like half-assed way about going about making your music more important. You know what I mean? Like, it's an easy way to get 90 out of 100 on album of the year, but not to me. I don't believe it. You know what I mean? And I've gotten heat for that take, but I still kind of stand on it. Yankee UXO, however, it's a good album, like instrumentally. Let's just say that, like the production-wise, instrumentally, great album. The album cover is a rocket. It's like a nuke being dropped. There's songs on here where it's MFer equals Redeemer, which I guess is a pretty edgy title. It makes you think, oh, MFer equals Redeemer, and it's a 20-minute instrumental song. It's not exactly doing a lot for me in that sense. It's not turning me into somebody who's really passionate about their music. I just think their music is cool. Like, strictly on like a soundtrack level, like they make really interesting musical soundtracks with their stuff. These compositions, these chord progressions, they always tend to go a little bit darker than you would figure. Like, you think they're gonna go a typical route with the chord progression, and then it seeps into darker territory, more ominous, progressions, more ominous motion. Yeah, my issues with Godspeed still stand. I'm still listening to their music, but I still think they're heavily politically posturing. And honestly, the fact that they named their instrumental album The Death Toll of the war going on in the Middle East is that's something I can't really look past. Like, you're gonna spray paint the suffering of others on your album cover to just make it sound like it's more important and just make it like a political piece now. The people in the Middle East do not care that you named your album that. That's not something I'm into at all. I think it's really bad. I think it's maladvised. I don't think it's good. I don't think, is that a word, maladvised? I don't think it's a very nice thing to do. Oh, they're speaking about it. They're giving light to it. I think they're making instrumental albums and then slapping a tragedy as the album title to make it seem important. That's what it sounds like. So Yankee UXO, love the soundtrack of it, but in terms of like what they're saying, they're not saying anything to me. So yeah, that's my thoughts. Let's move on. Rocket League times Monstercat Volume 3. Yeah, this was the Rocket League soundtrack that they released in 2018. It's the third volume of the Monstercat times Rocket League series, and it features Glide by Stephen Walking. It features She Oasis. It features Silhouette. All amazing dance songs. Like the production level on these dance songs is like awe-inspiring. It's so good. And it fills me with a lot of nostalgia for like 2018 times. You know what I mean? Like, I was playing Rocket League with all my boys during 2018, 2019 summer, and this was kind of the soundtrack for it. And it fills me with this cool sort of nostalgia. And it's really good for the gym because these songs are mastered loud. They are dance songs. If you turn this stuff all the way up in your headphones, your headphones are going to vibrate on your head as you're doing sets. So just a little trip down memory lane for me. Really cool songs on here. And if I had to give one recommendation, I'd say listen to Silhouette by Bad Computer. Oh my God, what a song. Just like overall, just an ingenious production excursion. Okay, next album. Halakha Bliss Out Volume 11 expanded by Sweet Trip. I didn't know this existed. I didn't know Sweet Trip did this like Halakha Bliss Out volume series. This is the only one I saw. Volume 11 is the only one I saw, but still. I was needing to take a nap and I was like, I want to listen to some psychedelic nice stuff, and I knew Sweet Trip had my back, so I made their way over to this album that I haven't heard before, and it was a great time because I was half asleep and it was full blast in my headphones, so I wasn't really falling asleep, but I was pretty much dozed off, and I was like half dreaming, half seeing worlds as this music was playing. It was so sick. Low-key, kind of a perfect listen. Like, I woke up from my nap and I literally felt rejuvenated. I felt like my day had more value to it, and that doesn't happen very often. Sometimes an album will end and it will be like, oh, that was cool, that was nice, but this album finished and I was like, man, I really appreciated the fact that I listened to that and I was half asleep and I was like kind of half dreaming. It was very nice. Probably the peak album listening experience I've had this month. Like, it was legitimately that good. I can't really explain my experience of it. All I can really do is sort of just say the same thing over and over. I saw atmospheres and shit, but it was like I had like a high or something. It was pretty sweet. I was just in that right corner of sleep where it was just like, oh, I could hear all the music, I could hear all the details, I was conscious of it, but I was also kind of consciously in this like vision of like a different world. I was on a train at one point. Yeah, it was wild. I don't know. I wish I could formulate that every night, but that was just awesome. So yeah, let's keep it moving. I watched the Equalizer trilogy of the movies with Denzel Washington because my family really likes him. I've never seen him before, and we just watched one every night. And there's something to be said about the fact that everyone gets worse as the series goes on. The first movie is very grounded and heartwarming. It's Denzel Washington being sort of like a worker at like Home Depot, but he's also this like secret CIA ex-military guy who's gonna set things straight in his community when people get wronged. And it's a nice little tale. There's some cool action scenes. It's pretty bloody, but you know, kind of like John Wick before John Wick. But you know, I really enjoyed it. But as the series goes on, they get progressively more gory and less grounded, and it's like very predictable stuff. Like every movie, you kind of know what's gonna happen going forward, and that's not something that's very fun. They honestly could have just stopped at the first one. The next two really don't have anything in common with the first one, except for that it's the same guy, and there's like a motif where he pulls out his own like tea bag or something, and he needs hot water. I don't know. It's weird. The first movie, he was a guy who, you know, loved his community and like worked at Home Depot, and he was pretty nice in the first movie. And by the third movie, he is making drug lords OD on their own drugs and walking them around the city as they're crawling, ODing, like throwing up shit out of their mouth, and he's just sitting there like smiling. It's not the same guy. It's like he got taken over by the devil or something. He's just an evil dude. If you had no idea who this dude was, man, oh my god, despicable character. Ugh. But yeah, let's keep going. The Hyper Youth singles by Joey Valence and Bray. These singles are the best I've ever heard from them. I'm really excited for Hyper Youth, man. It's less gimmicky production-wise than No Hands. Like, it's more unpredictable, the switches and the way it's going, and they sample Bangarang on the first song. I'm like, okay, this is pretty nice. Like, they seem to be evolving, even if it is a little bit too samey for my full undivided attention and devotion still. Like on Live Right, that song is a beautiful cloud rap, just expansive little world, and they're still sort of in Beastie Boys mode with their vocals, and it kind of clashes a little bit. Like the main chorus is, I'm kind of scared of growing up, and it's like, I'm afraid of growing up, things are changing, and it's like a pretty heartfelt moment lyrically, but their flow and the way they're singing it is like Beastie Boys, like, yo, like, I want to live right, I'm scared of growing up, shit's changing around me, low key. Bray is doing that more than Joey Valence. Joey Valence actually sings on this song. That's kind of interesting, and he produces and masters everything. Dude, shout out, you know what I'm saying? I'm excited for the album, so they got me hyped. Like, I'm gonna listen to it, so it doesn't really matter what I say, man. My passion is in the full album experience now. I want to hear it. Joey Valence said he got inspired by like Oracular Spectacular and Kids by Mac Miller and all these like nostalgic sort of 2010s like teenage albums, and that's got me really excited because those are some of my favorite albums, man. That nostalgic pop from the past decade, like Owl City and like Safe and Sound and shit like that, and MGMT, it's like that seems to be a main influence for this album's sound, and that's got me pretty excited, so consider me there. Next album, Homogenic by Bjork. Really love Bjork. Bjork is slowly becoming one of my favorite artists, and I'm appreciating her deep cuts on Homogenic this time around, listening to it like 5 years. That song is pretty wild. The whole middle section of Homogenic is pretty interesting because it's just like so experimental and weird. It reminds me of Yeezus, how kind of off-putting it is. Like, if you weren't into Bjork and you just kind of heard this out of nowhere, you would think it was like a joke. You would think maybe someone's thrown this together as like a joke way to make music, like a satire. But it's not a joke to me. It's actually pretty cool. A lot of the songs on Homogenic are just a lot more abstract than Post. It's wild. Even Hunter is really abstract. It's just sort of percussion and strings, and there's not really even any sort of traditional beat. Percussion is just insane. It's like it's hitting you in different ears at different times. It's a wild experience, but it's really nice. I love the moment in that song where it's like, I thought I could organize freedom. It's pretty beautiful. And yeah, the strings in this album absolutely soar, and Hunter is a go-to gym song for me, so I can't really complain. Had a good time with Homogenic. Next album is also Bjork, and it's Vespertine. I listened to that one, and you know, I like how this is the harp album. I like how she's being cold and erotic and using the harp as the main instrument, and you know, really just putting you in this cold, icy little world within her Bjork style. That's really not too much to say about it. I just been listening to it a lot. I just like the cold world she's given me, and that's really all I can say, man. I'm just returning to it a lot. So yeah, next thing, I tried to listen to Swag by Justin Bieber, but it was just too boring for me. I couldn't get into it. And yes, I know McGee produced on Daisies, and there's Dijon influence, and he worked on the album and all that. I thought it was just a slog. It was not a fun thing to listen to. It wasn't a fun time. I got to like the fifth song. I didn't even reach the first Drewski interlude, which I know is a part of the album for some reason. It wasn't my thing. Also, the thing about him crashing out, like is it not clocking you, I'm standing on business, that's not a crash out to me. That's pretty normal. At least in my opinion. I think that's like, you know, that's reasonable. A full full album I listened to was Let God Sort 'Em Out by Clips. Anthony Fantano gave it a 10. In my opinion, it's not a 10, but you know, to each his own. Pharrell production is amazing all the way through. He creates these really eerie, menacing beats with like synths and just percussions and 808s in a very interesting way that's not like anybody else could produce. I just don't think his vocal presence is that great. He's still in that bag where he's doing like the quirky, awkward, Despicable Me falsetto on all the songs. Like I said, the production's insane. Like the retro synths combined with Clips rapping, it's just a menacing combination. Also, this is my first time hearing Malice. I've listened to Pusha T a lot, but I've never really heard a Malice solo project or heard him really at all. And this dude literally just sounds like Pusha T, like flow-wise, like vocally. I kind of thought it was Pusha T at some points, but he's got a little bit more of a high-pitched cadence to him. It's really interesting. You can tell they're literally out of the same womb, and they have a really cool dynamic on this album. They're like Thing 1 and Thing 2. They just bounce off each other in these really cool ways, and they're both just pissed. They're both just angry and mad, but also very reflective. Like lyrically, they're talking about the side of them that used to deal coke and how they're not really proud of it, but it is a part of their story, and they're reminiscing on their parents. Really full circle, you know, because they're probably as old as their parents were when they were doing these heinous activities, right? And now they're looking back at it from that perspective, and it's a coke rap album that is just kind of sad and depressed about the fact that it is one. Like, it doesn't want to be a coke rap album. They're kind of ashamed of the fact that they used to sell coke, but they're talking about it very audibly on this record, and that's kind of what I like. It's a really interesting take. It's you know, Pusha T, he's the type of guy who just makes the same song about cocaine over and over. That's like a thing that's been thrown at him through Daytona, through you know, It's Almost Dry. But this one, there's a new take. There's a new take on it, and he's doing it with his brother. And yeah, it's a really nice album, and I don't think you can really knock it too much. I really just think that Pharrell's singing kind of lessens it for me a lot. Like, it takes me out of it. It's like I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it'll grow on me. You know what I mean? But yeah. Next album, Headlights by Alex G. In my opinion, this is Alex G's most dreamy project, and I guess you could say it's his most fully baked project as well. Like, a lot of the songs you hear on Headlights are complete. They have like a verse, chorus, verse, bridge, whatever structure to them. Like, it's not like he's just throwing 1 minute, 2 minute things at the wall, which is kind of what he did on House of Sugar and a little bit what he did on God Save the Animals. But overall, I think God Save the Animals still reigns as his most complete, cohesive vision. This one it's dreamy, it's dissonant, but I don't know, there's a lot of moments on here that I just don't want to be on here, like Bounce Boy or like Louisiana, which for some reason has the most out-of-pocket loud snare of all time, and the vocals are just so down and decrepit in the mix, you can't even understand what he's saying. I didn't even know there were vocals on the song really until like 2 minutes in, when I realized, oh wait, that's a vocal effect in the background. That's not just like a weird piece of fuzz. Bounce Boy is just like bullshit. I don't know why he's doing, I don't know why he does that. He always throws like 1 or 2 like BS songs in the middle of a perfect little album pocket, just to like get it out there. He's done it on House of Sugar with like Bad Man and Project 2, but I think Project 2 is actually pretty interesting. There's these little BS shitpost sort of moments on God Save the Animals, but it's few and far between, and it's actually pretty interesting when it does come out, like these giant synth walls and these giant analog claps with reverb and stuff that you hear on God Save the Animals. It comes out of nowhere, right? But that is like his BS, you know, heart coming out to play. And then Headlights just has like full songs that are kind of like that. Like the last 2 songs, take them out immediately. Bounce Boy and Louisiana, I really don't want to hear those. They're grating. They're like annoying to listen to. I'm skipping them after 1 listen. It's really unfortunate, because every other song on this album is really beautiful. Headlights is beautiful. It has that giant moment where there's this like synth wall that just comes out and like flashes you like a headlight would, like full bright beam or whatever, in the middle of the song audibly. It's kind of what it sounds like. Beam Me Up is one of my favorite songs right now. I wanna put that football right into the sky. It's so cheerful. It's so dystopian kind of with the chord progression, but that moment is just so jangly and mystical and nice. Real Thing is also just like heartbreakingly beautiful. I went out looking for The Real Thing, didn't realize it was hanging on the door. You went and spilled the real thing all over the floor. Like, just this just weird lyrical motif of using the real thing is like something to, like an object that's just in his life that he's searching for, that he doesn't know he has. And I relate to it too, you know, like we're always searching for the best version of ourselves. We're always searching for what can we change? What can we fix about ourselves to be better? How can we be the real thing? How do I fit in? How do I do this? And in reality, man, the real thing is in you all along. You're just too self-conscious to notice it. It's sad, but it's beautiful in a sense. Like, it makes me think about myself, and it makes me think about, like, go easy on yourself, man. You are the real thing. You're existing. You're alive. You know what I mean? So take it easy. easy. That's all you need to do. Also, Far and Wide, that's just a wild song. I love that a lot. I love the vocal inflection he's doing. It's so weird and zany and doesn't need to be a thing, but it is. And the weird dissonant string rises at the end of the song. It's so ominous, and it's like I don't know. It's like you're ODing on something and you don't know how to stop it. That's kind of the vibe I get from the song. So let's keep going with House of Sugar by Alex G. This is my favorite Alex G album for the first 5 songs. They are just something else, man. These kaleidoscopic soundscapes of worlds, from Walk Away to Gretel to Taking. It's lo-fi and it's just mystical, and there's all these synth moments and there's beautiful melodies coming into play. Gretel is such an interesting song because it's so haunting, but it still makes you do the stank face whenever that one riff comes in. It's so interestingly melodic and depressing, and also the way that song is structured, the bongos and the different chords, the different suites it goes through. Did they bury me here? Dude, it's a kaleidoscopic wonder fest, and I wish the rest of the album was like that, because after track 5, once we get into After Project 2, it kind of drops off completely except for In My Arms. Oh, and Sugar. Sugar's an amazing song. Nobody talks about Sugar. It's kind of just instrumental. I know Anthony Fantano, I saw his review. He did not like it. He thought it was like some Animal Crossing bullshit. I disagree completely. That song is menacing, and the fact that it's called Sugar, it almost reads to me as like, this is what it's like when you chase pleasure. Like, it reminds me of that quote, like, the path to hell feels like heaven. Because sugar is a very pleasurable thing to experience. People like eating sweets, eating candy, but this song itself is so menacing and just like it feels like the song you hear when you get to heaven and God bestows judgment upon you that says you're gonna go to hell. Like, this is kind of the moment that it sounds like to me. And just call it Sugar, it just adds a whole layer of other things I could think about when I'm listening to the song. You know what I mean? It's just crossing through my head. So really cool, really intrinsic stuff. House of Sugar, cool album. Wish it was more focused though. Wish it was more focused. Like, it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful when it wants to be, and then it's just so not when it decides to just check in. The songs are still good, but they're nowhere near the quality of the first 5. The first 5 are just so absolutely insane. But that's my thoughts on that one. Let's keep it moving with Don't Tap the Glass by Tyler, the Creator. This man teased an album less than 3 days before it released, and I listened to it 3 times the day it came out. It's a 30-minute album. It's very free, it's very danceable, but the first time I listened to it, I didn't really understand it. I didn't really like it. I kind of thought it was Call Me If You Get Lost B-sides. Like, it just kind of sounds very half-baked on the first listen, but listen to it over and over 3 times, 4 times, I get it now. I 100% get it. It is literally just supposed to be a good time album. There's songs reminiscent of like late 80s hip-hop. There's songs reminiscent of sort of stuff from GNX, like Kendrick's last album. There's just straight up like 80s club, like dance 80s synth bangers on this thing, like Don't You Worry Baby. That's a beautiful, oh my god, what a beautiful melody. It's literally only the chorus 3 times. That's kind of the whole song. There's a little verse in there, but I do not care. I'll run that back a billion times. The drums are very Daft Punk inspired, very danceable, very like compressed and in your face. When you listen to it in the car, it's just a visceral experience. That's how I listened to it the last 2 times, and I think that really sort of smoothed me over on it. Like, you just put some amplitude on it, turn that volume up in the car. I think you'll understand the album. I think the reason people are kind of negative on this album so far is because it is so loose. It's so different and not complex and conceptual like Igor or Flower Boy or Chromacopia, which I think are better albums than Don't Tap the Glass, but Don't Tap the Glass is just a different version of Tyler. It's not like you can really compare it to those 3 albums, This album exists in its own like different plane of Tyler, the Creator creations, you know what I mean? Kind of next to a Call Me If You Get Lost sort of territory, where it's like kind of more just having fun, free flowing, don't take it too seriously, not an insane concept, but I do appreciate the transitions, and I do appreciate how the album starts and ends with this little Don't Tap the Glass weird vocoder voice, and the instrumentals throughout the album are very danceable and very cohesive, you know what I mean? So there is like a sort of cohesion to the whole album, even though there's really not supposed to be. Technically, that's what he said. It's not a concept album. Don't get your hopes up. I still enjoy what we got here. It still holds up as an album. It's not just like a collection of songs, right? And that effort's much appreciated. So that's what I listened to so far in July. I guess we'll see what future picture me thinks about this next album here. Check, check. Vanisher, Horizon Scraper by Quedeca. How long we got? How long we got here, guys? This album is phenomenal. Self-produced, self-mixed, self-mastered, incredibly ambitious, conceptual, transitions all the way through. It's an hour and 9-minute album. It feels like an odyssey. It feels like an epic. It feels like a movie soundtrack in all the best ways. It feels like a carefree, awesome album filled with energy in the best ways too. No questions asked. The first song of this album had me floored. I was like, he gets it. He knows exactly what he's doing here. He's gonna capitalize on this really romantic Odyssean, whatever. Odyssean's a weird word. He's gonna capitalize on making his album sound like an epic journey. That's what I got from these 6 minutes of the opening track. It's an instrumental that basically guides you through the wondrous portal of this world. You're stepping through the portal. You're going into Narnia. And this album doesn't let off the gas until its final seconds. Its final seconds being the most mind-blowing part of the album, where the whole album culminates in a giant sort of psych noise rock ballad where the triumphant drums and horns and insane distortion eventually gets so loud that it gets distorted and swallowed out and spat out by what sounds like the waves of an ocean. People have talked about it. My jaw was on the floor seeing that visual for the first time when I watched the album Movie Thursday night. It's as cinematic as you can make music. Quite frankly, it's the most movie-like album ever. It's comparable to Oppenheimer or something. This is the Oppenheimer of albums. That's what it feels like to me. Do I think it's a perfect album? I don't know. Like, it's there are some songs that I didn't really like first listen. Like Waging War, I thought was like, eh, but then I listened to it 2 or 3 more times and I get sucked into it. And I think the second half of it is really just hypnotizing. And then Ruin My Life, I thought was kind of scattered and janky, but I come back to it because I think its progression is really interesting. It starts as like a singer-songwriter song where the vocals are really backed up and far away, intimate in a weird way, like they're kind of janky sounding. But then it evolves and morphs into something that you'd hear on like a Mid-Air Thief record. It explodes with these giant cymbals and giant drums, and then somehow weaves its way back into that singer-songwriter, almost Italian romantic sounding chord progression. The one song that's really sticking with me out of all of them is That's Why. That song almost has like a satire baked into it with the chorus. Basically, the whole first half of the song is him monologuing about how he feels inadequate and his life is really weird. He's going through this existential dread almost. His life is sort of bending in ways he wasn't expecting, and he's not really comfortable with what's going on, just like existentially, right? And the chorus is like, that's why it don't get any better than this life. All right. Yeah, it's cool. It's dope. When I first heard that monologue portion, it reminded me of For Me to You, because I listened to that and I was kind of I was like, I don't really like that too much. But you come back to it and you realize this is saying something interesting. You can kind of suspend disbelief given how good the rest of the album is and how well it's produced and how, intentional all this production is. I don't know if I'd change too much about the album, honestly. I think it's cool what we got. I think it would be nice to have a more consistent, blissful sort of sea voyage. It gets pretty industrial. It gets pretty like scrapyardy sounding at times, especially with like Natural Causes or At a Time Like This, which At a Time Like This I think is one of my favorites so far. It's so triumphant. It just keeps going. It keeps expounding on itself. It, like Peter Griffin would say, it insists upon itself. This whole album does, but in a way that's very secure, and I mess with it. Like it's so fully well realized you can't really knock it for insisting upon itself, and that's the magic of this one, man. I love how niche the concept is too. It's a sailor voyage going on an existential journey, basically trying to grasp for the horizon. He wants to scrape the horizon. He's a horizon scraper. It's this inconquerable thing. The horizon keeps disappearing the closer you get towards it. It's like it's an impossible mission. It's an impossible dream. But the main sailor, the main character of the album is, that's his focal point. That's his thing. And at the end of the album, that last song of the album, man, it's pretty clear audibly he drowns. He succumbs to the weight of this impossibility. Basically, it's almost like Icarus. He flew too close to the sun. He chased this unconquerable thing and he paid the price for it. Drowning out at sea while trying to go for this horizon. That's my interpretation. I know a lot of people have different interpretations. That's mine. It makes it feel more cinematic. It makes it feel more like a tragedy, like a Shakespearean tragedy. And yeah, beautiful album, beautiful stuff. I'm very grateful Quedeca went all out with this one, and I'm just excited to see what he does next. I mean, where could he possibly go from here? What sounds does he get inspired by? What other concept albums does he have cooking in his dome? I don't know, but I'm here for him. And I hope you're here for me too, because I dropped Search Session 2. That's 2 singles I like, and that's July. So hopefully you guys had a good July. I had a pretty decent July. And yeah, man, that's July. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I won't hold up more of your time, but I appreciate you. Thank you, and have a good one.